Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. I am Old Man 102. Welcome back to the channel. I thought we'd just do a quick update today. So, through this picture on my screen, so hyperbaric oxygen therapy. I'm about 3/4 of the way through. Seems to be helping, so we'll just leave it at that. So I'm still off through the end of December. But I may have to go back to work. I may have to stop treatments early and go back to work because money's getting really tight and short-term disability does not pay all the bills. So I have December's rent paid. I'm concerned with not having enough money for January's rent, so I may have to go back. I may have to quit therapy early and go back to work mid-December, or I'm not going to have rent for January. So we shall leave it at that. So let's jump into Farm Sim 25. So the editor is now out, but they released 10.0 and there was a bunch of bugs and stuff wasn't working. So they came out and did a really quick release of 10.01 and it's still a bit buggy. So they came out with 10.02, which I've not had a chance to really play around with it too much yet this morning. After I get this video recorded, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to do a little bit of testing with 10.02. Now, I am doing, let me jump in here. I am doing an edit of Riverbend Springs. It's going to be called the Old Man Edition. Let me turn guided tour off and we'll just wait for this to load. I'm going to deselect all the mods. I still have to fix the picture, but it's so far I haven't run it error-free. So before I start a 4X map, we're going to, because they've really changed the placeables for 25, and the editor has not been fixed yet, so we still cannot convert anything over from 22 to 25 unless they fixed it in 10.02, which I've not had a chance to play with yet this morning. Now, placeables. So every single building on the map has to be spawned in as a placeable. Like even the town. Even buildings that in 22 we would not have to put in the map as a placeable. So the only thing we had to build into the map as a placeable for 22 were factories. Well, the farmyard, factories, animals, we pretty much spawned in as a placeable. For 25, every single building on the map has to be spawned in as a placeable so it can be sold. And in order to spawn it in as a placeable, every single building has to have its own XML, and the map has to refer to that XML. And then inside of the map i3D, in like 3 different places, you have to reference that XML and placeable. And in like a placeable XML, it has to be referenced. So building a placeable into the map for 25 is going to be a royal pain in the where the sun doesn't shine. Let's just put it that way. So I've started with, let's just jump into a tractor. It's quicker to drive around because I don't have flight mode or running speed yet. So I started clearing off the main farmyard. So I opened up all of this space back here. So you can put animal pens and placeables down. I'm not going to combine these fields here into one. On the home farm, we'll leave them as 3 separate starting fields. Well, let me zoom all the way out. But I did over here. I pushed this bank. I got rid of the trees and I flattened it out. And I've pushed this bank here back a little bit further so you could actually get some more placeables or animal pens in along here. And then down over here, I'm removing all the clutter, I'm removing all the trees, well, not all the trees. I'm getting rid of a lot of the trees and the clutter and the decorations and just the crap. And I've started expanding this area here. I'm not done with it. I'm starting to work through this area here. But I am going to take these 3 fields and combine them into one and make one large field over here next to the farmland. So I got rid of the junky. Let's just drive through here. It's going to destroy the crop. I'm not going to save the save anyway. But over here, yeah, I flattened it out. I pushed this out over here a little bit. And we'll expand these fields over here towards the water a little bit. And I'll leave a little bit of grass around the field, so I don't have it painted in yet, so you'll be able to, you know, mow a little bit of grass around each field, which you cannot do now. And this is as far as I've gotten. So I really just started playing around with placeables. Even removing a placeable from an existing map is a pain in the royal behind. Because you got to delete it in like 4 different places in the map files, and you got to delete it from the map i3D. It's going to be a royal pain in the butt. So instead of jumping into a 4X map and trying to figure out the channels and adding extra fruits in, I'm just going to do a Riverbend Springs Old Man Edition. And again, I cleaned up the area here. Got rid of a lot of the junk. I moved this building over here. And then I pushed the silo back over here by the barn. I left this buildable here. I left the bees, but I pushed the silo over here. It seems to be a pretty good spot. Here. And then, again, there's just a big meadow here now for your use. So what I want to do is, let me pull the map up. So what I want to do is, again, so I started working over here where fields 6, 7, 8, 9. I got rid of all the trees and the buildings and this little bit of a loop here that made no sense. We'll make one big field here. If I can, I'm going to try and get rid of most of the stuff here in town. We'll leave this. We'll probably leave the tailor shop. If I can get these roads and the traffic system out, we'll leave the bakery, and I'll try and put a field in here as well. And then just the same thing here. I'll clean up. So this field 10's between the road and the railroad tracks, but I'll get rid of all the trees around it and try and expand it or make a little bit of grass around it. The same thing here. So we'll get rid of all these trees here. I'll try and flatten all this out, and I'll probably combine like 14 and 16 into one big field, and we'll combine like 11 and 15 into one big field. So that's what I plan on doing with this map here. Same thing here. I'm going to try and get rid of some of the extra junk we don't need. We'll leave. Maybe I'll even flatten this out and make like one big forest here, and then we'll just start combining some of the fields together and make the map a little bit more usable until I can get a 4X map built. Now, the 4X map, again, I'm going to play around with extra fruits. I don't know how much of a pain in the butt it's going to be until we actually sit down and try it. But building a map for 25, because of the placeables, it's going to take about twice as long as building a map for 22. So you're not going to see any custom maps for a good 4 to 6 months. Now, let me roll that into the YouTube channel. Since it's going to take a good bit of time for map building, I'm going to take the YouTube channel down just to 1 video a day. So right now I'm doing, well, I was doing 3 videos a day, but that's because I'm off of work and doing treatments. So I have it down now to 2 videos a day. That's still 2 hours to record, 2 hours to edit and render, which I can't do anything on the computer for those 4 hours. And then 2 videos take me 5 hours to upload. So if I take it down to 1 video a day, it's just an hour to record, an hour to edit and render, and then I have 4 hours of treatment, because I leave the house at 6 a.m., get home at 10 a.m., and then I'll have the rest of the day to just work in the editor. So, just wanted to show you what I'm starting. We're going to take Riverbend Springs and make it great again. But I'm going to call it here. I am Old Man 102. Please smash that like and subscribe on your way out, and have an awesome